Too many times we see through the eyes of Paris. What do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is a reference to a myth that I reference a lot. Actually, fairly recently, I really have been gravitating to this myth. And the myth is the Judgment of Paris. If you've been watching my videos recently, you have noticed that I do bring this up on occasion. So why am I bringing this up? And this is a story that even Sallustius, who I follow in my own spiritual path, would bring as an allegory of what myth means. So what does it mean that we see through the eyes of Paris? What do I mean by that? So we look at the story of the Judgment of Paris. And we all know that story, how he had to decide who was the most beautiful, wonderful goddess. Was it going to be Hera? Was it going to be Athena? Or was it going to be Aphrodite? And we already know, I won't tell the story in whole, but it was Aphrodite. Because the moral of the story, as I've said in a few videos, is the prize of the golden apple. The golden apple that he gave to the winner. So the apple is the world and Paris is us. And we judge and think mostly and naturally on what we see and what we hear with our physical eyes. And sometimes we don't think of the spiritual side of things, or we don't see things through the logical side of things. But we make quick decisions and judgments based on what we can actually see. And so that's the moral of the story of the Judgment of Paris. Anyway, that leads me to this video. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have never really, it's a hard way to describe it, connected to Poseidon, I guess you could say, out of the gods, the 12 Olympians. And it's because, I don't live close to the ocean or really any body of water, but it's me looking through the eyes of Paris, looking at the physical. So this might help someone out that has trouble connecting with a certain god or goddess. So think about it this way. So the gods are spiritual beings. Shocker, right? And so I have to see Poseidon through a spiritual lens. Okay, so he is the god of the oceans and the rivers and earthquakes. And he is also over and the god that helps you through the spiritual oceans, the spiritual earthquakes, the things that shake you up in life. He can calm you when you have to be going through your own personal shakeup. Think about that in a spiritual sense. And if you're not connecting to the ocean physically, or earthquakes, praying for earthquakes not to happen literally, think about being stable. And when life shakes you up like that Poseidon has you. And he's going to help hold you during earth-shattering, earth-shaking moments. And that's what you start to see when you look through it through a spiritual lens. And when I thought of it that way, then Poseidon becomes so much more important in my life. It is about the water we drink. It is about life and rain, but also think about it in the spiritual sense, that he is the earth shaker, but he also calms the waters after the storm and calms the earth, and he will calm you after your life is shaken. Anyway, we're going to do a quick video on ritual to Poseidon. I'll show you guys and just meditate on that as you see this ritual, and you'll look on gods such as Poseidon, possibly, or any god X, Y, and Z that you've had a hard time connecting with or thinking on in a different light. If you start not focusing on through the eyes of Paris, but using your spiritual eyes. This is your Grievous. Thank you, great calmer of the storm and earthquakes, that you hold us during the hardest parts of our lives and help us through the waves and the shake-ups that rattle us, that you calm us. Eternal, great God.